So, I goofed. I actually am in the wheel group. The user mod command I ran worked. I was just using the groups command differently. In a Debian environment, typing groups will show you a member of all the groups that you're in, what group memberships that your account is in. With that one, in a Fedora environment like this one, you type groups and you'll get your group name, which doesn't really tell you much. If you type groups and then the username, you get the whole kit and caboodle. So what I want to show you now is updating. I also looked at this thing here. I catted out the Etsy group file, which is kind of analogous to Etsy shadow and Etsy password in that you have a list of group names and group numbers. A lot of the stuff that you expect to see in Etsy Shadow or Etsy Password is not there because obviously a group doesn't have a full name, doesn't have a location, doesn't have a password, so to speak. So it's basically a list of groups and their members, and I filtered on that by doing catting out the group file and piping it into grep wheel to find the contents of the wheel group. So the NST user is a member of the wheel group, and I am a member of the wheel group. And now I want to update this thing with sudo dnf upgrade. What this will do is it will look and see what I can upgrade. I'll probably get a whole bunch of packages because this ISO is a little bit old. See, I've got a gig worth of data. And I'm going to kick this off and then stop because frankly, this is going to take a while. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. And of course, when I get around to upgrading this thing to Fedora 31, which I can do, look, literally everything. One of the things I've noticed, well, not literally everything. This is not the whole kit and caboodle. I've noticed that the Network Security Toolkit webpage doesn't seem to be working. It's supposed to be finding at the NST web GUI on port 9943, and as we saw from our nmap output, port 9943 is not open. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is to see if I can fix that. Now this is not really just as usual, just trying to fix things as it might help is not a valid approach unless that something also counts as preventative maintenance. In this case, this image is old enough that I really should start by bringing all my software up to date and then troubleshooting. Because if the problem goes away because there was a bug that has since been solved, no problem. If it doesn't go away, then at least I know I'm all up to date. So yes. Now, sometimes it can do smart things like delta mapping. Basically, it's going to try to figure out. There's really no good place for me to put myself here. Okay, smack in the middle. That'll work. It'll try to figure out how little it can get away with downloading. It'll get delta packages rather than the whole kit and caboodle. But still, this is look at this. This is 1,100 packages or operations it's going to worry about, not 1,100 packages specifically. But that's downloading them, installing them, running their configuration scripts, their cleanup scripts. A major upgrade, just an update software to the software like this can take a while. To say nothing of a full-on OS upgrade, which is also something I'm going to demonstrate with this VM because I can. I might also do the same thing later on with my Fedora Sec 31 because Fedora 32 is currently in beta, expected to release officially to the wider community later this month. And if that happens, I'll go ahead and do that too. So I'm going to pause this right here. It is about, according to this clock, 5 o'clock. I think it hasn't noticed about daylight savings time, because it's literally only 4 o'clock here. In any case, and actually I can sort of demonstrate that for you, can't I? Yeah, see, the host, the guest OS thinks it's 5. The host thinks it's 4. That's okay. So I'm going to pause this, and we'll see how long it takes. Just watch those timestamps, how long this takes. Okay, so checking in. We've been going for about 15 minutes now. We are well into the upgrade and script running and cleanup phase. So 1100 packages, 23, almost 2300 upgrade operations. This would be even more complicated if I had run, if I had installed the system update plugin and told DNF to upgrade the OS from Fedora 30 to 31. I will actually do a video about that here soon. But yeah, this is the way it goes. Some of these operations are very quick, and others of them, but on the whole, the aggregate of them takes quite a while. It's still faster than a Windows update can be sometimes, and it has it's much better about telling you what it's doing. This is something I prefer to do with the command line with DNF. If I'm window shopping for a package, DNF Dragora or the software store is useful. If I know what I want, I would much rather do it with DNF. By the same token, with Debian, if I'm shopping, Synaptic is great. If I'm changing the repo list, Synaptic's pretty good, particularly if I need to say take the CD off the list, because I'm tired of the OS telling me, hey, something's wrong with the CD. I'd rather not hear about that. But if I know what I want, just go ahead and do it at the command line. So 15 minutes. We'll check in again a little bit later and see how long this takes. And I'm back. Huzzah! So 22 minutes from start to finish. Let's go. So strangely enough, of course, this is probably scrolled way past. I'm going to see how far up I can scroll in this, because I don't remember being root when I started this. Oh, yeah, let's see. So what did I do? Let's see. Okay. Okay. I was root when I started this. I could probably and it's probably why it, interesting. Maybe it was better this way. So, of course, the next thing, okay, so it's still fed 30. One thing it probably upgraded in the middle of this. Okay, N-M-L-I-J-K, yes. It did, it upgraded the kernel headers, my kernel tools. It doesn't seem to have actually upgraded the kernel itself. So I can scroll up a little bit farther. Let's see. JJK. Yeah. So it's doing kernel support stuff. Sometimes your upgrades will actually update the kernel as well. It just didn't. It happened not to in this case. This is actually something I would expect to see during a system upgrade, even if it doesn't necessarily happen with every system update. Let me see. So I'm going to exit this, and I'm going to reboot the system. Ooh, interesting. Only he. Okay. Let's look at that. Let's see. 22, 4 gigs used. Okay, yeah. It's not quite that bad. So yeah, it. I might actually have to add another virtual hard drive to this thing. Maybe 20 was too little. So I'm going to reboot this thing now. Actually, what I'm going to do, actually, move this thing. I'm going to pause. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. It is usually a good idea for any VM that you don't consider disposable to set your snapshot options. I'm going to set it to ask me whether I want that snapshot taken. And then I'm going to shut this thing down. Now, the virtue of that is that it will take a snapshot. If all I wanted to do was to refresh this, then a reboot would have been fine. This gives me that effect as well as a snapshot right after this system update. I'll also snapshot immediately before my system upgrade and immediately after my system upgrade, just to make sure that if something goes really wrong with it, I can roll back. And I'm going to stop right now. Okay, I'm not going to stop. Okay, so it's bringing so long. There I go. Move myself. It's bringing everything down. All of this that you see here, you'll see without the pretty color coding in your dmessage output. Also, possibly your boot logs. Dmessage will keep things going along with the kernel. And there we go. It's going to say OK, and I'm going to say take a snapshot. If you haven't changed anything at all, then just powering it off is perfectly acceptable. Thanks for watching.